Well, today's APJ episode deals with mature themes, so just a heads up. Particularly, Pastor John deals here with the world's infatuation with lust and how to escape it. The clip is from a 2004 sermon. Pastor John had been preaching on Romans 11, verses 32 and 33, a text that tells us, quote, God has consigned all to disobedience, that he may have mercy on all, end quote. Verse 32 is an astonishing claim, so astonishing that Paul moves directly into worship when he next says, oh, the depth of the riches and the wisdom and the knowledge of God, how unsearchable are his judgments and how inscrutable his ways. Late in his 2004 sermon, as he turned to celebrate the majesty of our sovereign God, so clearly on display in this text, Pastor John looked at some troubling social trends that he noticed. Here he is.
So if you come to the end of this message, hearing me open verses 30 and 31 and 32, and you're scratching your head and you're saying, I don't get it. How can this be? How can God be sovereign over and plan periods of disobedience? Then know that you're in good company, because the Apostle Paul himself responded to his own teaching, unsearchable, inscrutable. Those are his words, not mine. I use the words astonishing, shocking, which is why I prayed for you at the beginning. Go down to the deeps of our heart, Lord, and cut away the calluses on the capacities to be shocked. It's very intentional that Paul is doing this. And verse 33 proves it. He means to shock us. He means to astonish us. He means to put our hands over our mouths and say, I don't get it. I can't explain it. It's inscrutable. It's unsearchable. He means to leave us there. And so if you feel that way, don't resent it. Learn as much as you can from as much as he gives. These high things about God that we're about to look at, God's governing history from beginning to end, disobedience and obedience, all leading to the magnification of his mercy. These high things are really relevant for your daily life. Take sex, for example. One of the main reasons that we are drowning today in America and in the church in an ocean of lust and pornography, men and women, fornication, adultery, masturbation, exhibitionism, homosexuality, bestiality, rape, sexual innuendo on every screen virtually. One of the reasons that the church included is awash and drowning in the sea is because we are intellectually and emotionally disconnected from infinite, soul-staggering, divine grandeur. And instead, drowning in a sea of triviality, pettiness, banality, and silliness. We have lost, by and large, our capacity for being staggered by divine grandeur. And we live at a low, dog-in-heat level. TV is trivial. Radio is trivial. Conversation is trivial. Education is trivial. Christian books are pressed by publishers to be trivial. Worship styles become increasingly trivial. We trifle with our little jokey ways so that everybody will feel kind of comfortable, because that's what they feel when they watch TV. And if they can feel comfortable and home in our jokey churches, they might come back. We have lost our capacity to be staggered by the terrifyingly joyous dread and peace of an infinitely untouchable, embracing God. Life is just boring, humdrum. And when a creature created by God to live in the presence of God and to be staggered by the glory of His infinite power and justice and wisdom and truth and grace. When that creature swims in an ocean of triviality, it must be that he will embrace the best buzz available, and it is sex. So many of you have become fish and therefore do not even miss air anymore. You just can't imagine what I'm talking about. That there's another air to breathe. There's another level of joy. There's another experience of magnificent and grandeur and staggering, mouth-shutting, unsearchable, unspeakable, divine truth that if you lived there, you wouldn't want to be a dog in heat in front of your monitor anymore. You get victory over your life of lowness, but you've become a fish. It's all you drink is triviality. The best buzz you can imagine is a low buzz. Which is why I prayed at the beginning of the service that God would do what I can't do. I can't awaken the taste buds for the divine. God can. The deepest cure for our pitiful addictions is not any mental strategies. I have them, I use them, I teach them. I got my own lust strategies. That's not the deepest cure. The deepest cure is to be intellectually, and I underline that word. I'm not going to apologize for theology and doctrine and head, but I'm going to now say the second one. The deepest cure is to be intellectually and emotionally staggered by God. And there's this tremendous American pragmatic pressure not to form churches like that. Not to write books like that. Not to have music like that. But to keep everything low and chatty and comfortable and silly and trivial and small. This is so sad. Sex is one of the 100 issues that will overwhelm you and debase you if your life is out of touch with the magnificence of God. Well, I will do my best to stagger you because I feel bound by Scripture to help you get to verse 33 emotionally. Oh, the depth of the riches and the wisdom and the knowledge of God. I don't get it. It is unscrutable. His ways are unsearchable. His thoughts are beyond me. I bow. I put my hand over my mouth. I humble myself. I love this God. I will not just sit in front of my monitor and look. I will stand up. I will walk outside in the cold and look up and say, the heavens are declaring the glory of God. Make me pure. Come on. Come on, America. Wake up to reality. Don't live in the ocean of triviality, swimming around, fearing air. Be a man. Be a woman. Not a dog in heat.
Pointed. Wow, that was from John Piper's 2004 sermon titled, God's Design for History, the Glory of His Mercy. The clip was sent to us by a longtime listener to the podcast named Andy, who calls it, quote, one of my all-time favorite clips of Pastor John. End quote. I can see why. As always, you can find that full sermon at desiringgod.org. Again, it's titled God's Design for History, the Glory of His Mercy. Thank you, Andy, for today's sermon clip. All of our clips are now crowdsourced. You tell us what bits of Piper sermons changed your life. We share that clip with the APJ audience. If you have one, email me. Give me your name, hometown, the sermon title, and the timestamp of when the clip happens in the audio and how it impacted you. Put the word clip in the subject line of an email and send it to me at askpastorjohn@desiringgod.org. That's an email address, askpastorjohn@desiringgod.org. I'm your host, Tony Reinke. We'll see you back here on Friday. We're going to talk about how does chronic pain glorify God. It's a heavy email. Next up on Friday. We'll see you then.